There has been some talk about a potential Legend of Zelda remake for Ocarina of Time coming sometime this year or early next year for Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. And the rumor mill just got a little bit more spicy, as it seems that LEGO now throwing their hat into the ring, potentially to reveal more about what we could see for Legend of Zelda coming up on Nintendo's next system. So what's up, Waluigi? Trent from Trentendo here. Today we got to talk a little bit more about what is going on with LEGO specifically, and how does this, lean or give us any sort of inkling about what we could potentially see specifically with the Ocarina of Time on Nintendo's next hardware. So before we hop into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video so you guys get up to date with everything going on here at Trentendo. Let's see if we get 20 likes on this. It really does help. I appreciate it. And without further ado, let's hop right in. Now, as I said, this coming to us more in the form of LEGO than anything else, which is a little interesting. Now, many of you may have remembered last year, we did see a leak of a Deku Tree LEGO that was, surfacing and kind of circulating around the internet, that was going to be a two-way sort of build where you could build either the Ocarina of Time Deku Tree or the one that we see more currently in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this is not anything different that LEGO has done in the past. We have seen several LEGO sets where you can build multiple iterations of things in one set, but typically you can only build one at a time. This is not a both type of, this is one or the other situation. Now, the reason that we kind of brought this up is at the time, people's videos were getting taken down and were getting striked by the LEGO company. And that's interesting to note, that why would LEGO go after some of these videos if those were not true? Now, at that point, that was kind of all we heard. Nothing else really surfaced of that. Now, though, we are hearing more about this potential Deku Tree set in 2024 from a notable LEGO leaker, saying this, this is going to be about 2,500 pieces, and potentially releasing sometime in September, according to them. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the actual leak and showing anything because, like I said, LEGO has gone after people in the past. So just to kind of play it safe here, we're going to just kind of talk general specifics. Now, this is interesting, though, because if you think about what LEGO has done with Nintendo in the past, Zelda LEGO would be very interesting. Now, we have seen LEGO leaning into Nintendo IPs more heavily in the last couple of years. Now, as a big LEGO fan myself, I can't say that I'm very happy to see this. I have enjoyed the LEGO sets so far from Nintendo. Now, like the Mario sets, the course sets weren't really my cup of tea, but some of these other bigger sets have been pretty cool. Like, I've built the Bowser LEGO. That one was an awesome build and it took a lot of time, but it was fun. The question block Mario 64 LEGO was iconic and awesome. And then more recently, I did the Piranha Plant LEGO, which was super fun. Now, you got to kind of think about this too, is what is the timing of this? With these Mario LEGO specifically, we did see some correlation, I guess you will. So if you look at, with the Piranha Plant specifically, it did release fairly close to Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which the Piranha Plant was kind of one of the featured characters in one of the levels of Piranha Plants on Parade. Great level. But it made a little bit of sense, I think, in my own opinion, that, let's launch a Mario Piranha Plant LEGO around the same time of the Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Now, we still have some other Nintendo Legos rather coming down the pipeline. We're waiting for the Animal Crossing Legos that should be hitting pretty soon, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the exact timing on that. But that one is a little bit more interesting because Nintendo hasn't updated Animal Crossing in a long time. So it is interesting to see what they're doing there. But nonetheless, Nintendo is showing that they're willing to get into, some partnerships with LEGO here and making some pretty cool sets. Now, going back to Ocarina of Time, we kind of talked about this, a little precedent. Piranha Plant was releasing with Super Mario Wonder, and I don't know if that was, intentional or not. Animal Crossing, not necessarily showing as much. But if we look at, just the more recently one with the Piranha Plant, could we see this release in connection with some sort of Ocarina of Time game? Because that seems to be the feature version of the Deku Tree in this set, according to this leaker. That is the picture that they used when they were talking about it was that of the Ocarina of Time Deku Tree rather than Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Now, if that is the case, it makes a lot of sense for Nintendo to release a Lego around the same time as the game. Gets the hype going. It's in, you're gonna build off the merchandise sales, things like that. It makes sense to kind of pair these things together. Now, the interesting thing as well is the September date that they mentioned, because that is the date that AI Shark or Game Shark, whatever their name is nowadays, Game Shark back in the day, AI Shark now, that's when they're saying the Nintendo Switch 2 should be released. Now, I know that they have gone and backtracked and said, no, this is just some speculation on our part, according to some industry insight. Like, this is the speculation and the conversations that we've been having that, we think this will be a September launch. Now, whether or not they were doing that because Nintendo asked them to do that or because, they truly, really were speculating, it's all up in the air. We don't really know. We can only guess. But, this would be interesting to see nonetheless, because could Ocarina of Time, or as you would expect, a Zelda game potentially to be a system launch title. We saw that Breath of the Wild. That was one of probably the biggest launch title for Nintendo Switch. And could an Ocarina of Time game serve that function for Nintendo's next hardware? I would think we expect to see a new 3D Mario. We expect to potentially see some sort of Mario Kart. And whether or not these are available day one or, just fairly soon after the actual launch of the system, it kind of depends on how you determine what is considered a launch title. Is it what is truly only available the day of launch of the system, or, maybe are you looking at the first 3 to 6 months of the system's life cycle? Now, it is interesting to just kind of think about, though. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Do you think we could potentially see this Ocarina of Time remake in connection with this Lego set or not? There has been a lot of talk about Ocarina of Time. Potentially, we've heard leaks from people such as Zippo, that whether or not you believe what anything he has to say, I don't know. I personally think he gets hit and miss. I think he's kind of just throwing a lot of stuff out there, and some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. So I wouldn't take too much of what he says as gospel truth. But it was interesting to kind of note that he did bring it up. And then we've also had more recently, the interview with Miyamoto, where that they talked a little bit more about, or not Miyamoto, Eiji Onuma, sorry, getting my Nintendo guys mixed up. It was Eiji Onuma, where they brought up Raru in an interview. He's saying basically he wasn't sure if people would remember who Raru was from Ocarina of Time, and then when again he was pressed and asked whether or not we would see something for Ocarina of Time in the future, he's simply saying no comment. So there is some interesting bits and bobs out there about Ocarina of Time, and does this just spark that fire a little bit more, or is it just a nothing burger at this point? And it would be a cool Lego set though, but no connection to anything else outside of that. So I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below on what you think this might be. Hopefully we hear something about Nintendo Switch 2 soon. This is kind of feel like the calm before the storm. We've been waiting and waiting. This last week I haven't really been put out a video because I haven't felt like there's been much to talk about outside of, we heard from AR Shark, but I think that was the last video we put out. But this Lego stuff does seem a little bit interesting, and potentially there's something there, but I don't think we're gonna have to wait much longer till we get something more official from Nintendo, as we're getting closer and closer to that potential direct in February that I think we can all but expect at this point. So hope you guys enjoyed. Love to hear your guys' comments down below as well on what you guys think about this Lego leak and what this means for Ocarina of Time, if anything, or even if this Lego does not exist. I believe this Lego does exist, just from what we saw last year, and then this Lego leaker is fairly reliable. So I would take this as I'd lean more into believing this than not at this point. So hope you guys enjoyed. Looking forward to get that conversation down below with you. And until next time, catch you later.